Welcome to official SL TV channel. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share my video and press the red button. Please help me to share my video.
The level of developing or developing or moving a nation forward.
Osman Timbo, you don't serve in several capacity, as you rightly mentioned. Your journey starts way back around 2010, 11, 12, where you serve the party at that level, at the youth level. But again, I see you banner them right across. I see there's a slogan, good markets. What's in good body market?
Well, they say good market not easy for sell, right? Or easy for buy. So it's good market, it's fine market, it's common time. It depends on what you see. If you look at my t-shirts, some of them will show you common time. In common time now, slogan what I used from 2018 during the elections. Interesting in our old Palaji Kama. Now just look my names, Sharon Osman Timbo, and he said it's common time. And I feel this is the right time for do this. That is why I'm using common time. Fine market is another one. Fine markets are easy for buy. Not just because of how I look. I know I don't look too bad. I don't appear too bad. Also, no need for tell me that. So the specific one about good market, it's about your record. I look at everything and two things people will tell me. Well, not even two, because the second I don't want to talk about it. It's a non-starter. You will tell me, say, oh, this man a young man. Oh, he's too young for us. That's the thing you get, of course. Nobody will tell you, say, oh, Timbo get bad record. Timbo don't do this. Timbo don't step on other people's toes. No, you will never say that. You only will say, oh, he young for us. Little people realizing that this young man with this baby face is actually turning 40. 40 years with a family, with kids, running his own law firm, being the fourth highest place officer in the party, person who has served in all the three arms of government, then you still call him Bobo. Then I think it's a mentality problem. So I'm saying a good market because with all these experiences what I don't go through, yet still you cannot pinpoint one thing and say, oh, Timbo, now this corruption has been on the pan. Timbo, now that thing they don't, now that person they don't hot. Timbo, now this, Timbo, now that. So for me, looking at all of this, I feel like it becomes a good market for sale a good product for sale to the market, and it's easy for buying.
Many people get they of the opinion say politics aside, now one way for the at the hand of the older people. I mean the older folks. You're coming up as a very young man. Of course, interestingly, we've seen even from the other side of politics when I'm in opposition, we've heard of many names. We get it likely for also come up. Then say they in that similar age, the queue, very young people. But you think the APC, a party we go tolerate or we go ready for the young person leadership at this particular moment, more so than that him?
You see, not till now. I don't say this many times in many radio and TV programs. Now, myth, not so to say APC, they give young people power. Okay, now you're talking about young people in SLPP. Washington Mansari, for example, was in his 30s when they appointed him as minister. Bai Mahmoud Bangor was in his 30s, early 30s, when they appointed him minister. Mamadou Maliki, Minister of Water Resources, was in his 30s. Even CDA Tunis, they were all in their 30s at the time when they actually give them all them important portfolio there. The same thing continued with the SLPP. Well, that's apart. You're talking about the highest level. Some people don't forget, say, President Momo was a very young man. He was actually in his 40s when he became the president of this nation. Many people don't know that. One of his vice presidents, Abdullah Conte, was 46, 47 when he became vice president of this nation. There are many, many other names that I can talk about.
Momo, a leader you would be proud of?
I'm not talking about what I'm proud of or what I'm not proud of. The question you ask me now whether APC will give this power to young people. And I'm saying it is not now. It is the history. It is part of the history of the APC that they've always given power, or they've mostly given power to young people. For instance, take another example. President Kuruma.
35 years.
President Nkrumah was 53 years when he became president of this republic. That was in 2007. People, they forget, say, President Nkrumah also contested in 2002, and he contested against Honorable Solomon Bayowa. Not Honorable Solomon Bayowa. That was against President Kabbah. He contested against President Kabbah in 2002, 5 years before he became president. So if he was 53 and take 5 years behind, then you will realize that even President Nkrumah was in his 40s, 47, 48, when he ran for the presidency of this nation. The other part, even before that time, maybe 2 years before, he became the leader of the APC. So around 45, 46, 47, President Nkrumah was actually given the leadership mantle of the APC. So like I say, it's a myth for lay people and think the APC is not to give power to young people. Maybe because of what happened now with Dr. Samuel Kama being on the other side of the age bracket, that's why people feel like, say, it has always been the case that APC, they give power to old people, and that is not the case. Even now within the leadership of the APC, if you take out Honorable Minkailo Mansare, you take out Ambassador Osman Yansane, then you go realize that almost every other person down the line are young people. But people don't create these things, say, oh, APC na old people, and that's not the case. So I want to say I am confident that this is the time that my party, as a progressive party, will always consider young people for getting power, and this is the time for young people for take up leadership of the party and the nation.
Osman Timbo, the current situation in country in terms of the economy, what have you, things seem extremely difficult. Are you ready for take up that venture as a very young man? For come and pull this country from Musa a day. You feel see you confidence enough say you were able to transform Sierra within the shortest of time, taking into account the manner at which things are difficult. Tell the other leader we don't come in the shortest of time, they tell you say global shock or whatsoever grammar as it relates to Sierra situation. How you plan for
that? Firstly, when they call me very young man, I think that the first thing, I'm not a very young man. A very young man might be someone in his early 20s. If you call somebody in almost half of his age, or even maybe more than half, he's 40. They call him a very young man, and that's a problem.
You're young.
I am young, but not a very young man. Not a very young man. With all the experience and the age, if I live half of my years more, that's 80. Me daddy died at 80. So if I die at the same time as my daddy, that means in a half of my life I don't live so. With kids and a family, and still people call me very young. But now to the question about whether this is something we can do with all the hardship in the country. I've always said that what we need is honesty in leadership. Yeah, these are things that some of them are man-made. This country is not quite a poor country, but it takes determined leadership from the top, from the highest level, for make that change there. I'll give an example of the story of Tanzania and President Magufuli. Magufuli was just an ordinary teacher, and then he joined politics. And within a year, he has made tremendous changes to that nation. When President Nkrumah took the helms of affairs in this nation, you will say maybe things are going on in the pipeline. But when he came, he followed up with them, and we see the developments will happen during the first 100 days or even the first 5 years in presidency. It shows us that this talk about, oh, the economy is so bad, things are so bad, it cannot be changed. These all are myth, not lie. If you get serious and honest leadership, we can transform this country within 6 months, within 1 year. It can be transformed. I've heard a lot of things about things that are happening in certain departments and agencies in this nation. You look at how much, well, let me say leakages. You look at how many gutters all don't create. It's like money, then they siphon money they go to waste. If we see how we curtail the expenses today, if we know how we attract foreign investment into this nation, if we know how we encourage small and medium enterprises in this nation, If we know how we're able to deal with taxes, then we will see how this country will go before. If we know how we diversify our economy, encouraging things or moving more on things like agriculture, mechanized agriculture, fisheries, tourism, these are all sectors where we can make a lot of money. But I think it all boils down to the type of leadership we get. It comes down to what I call honest leadership. People will get the fairness of God in their mind, in their hearts. Now they're not more able to change this nation, and they can be done within the shortest possible time. So personally, I feel over the years I've shown honesty. Over the years I've shown humility. And over the years I've shown that I've delivered in every place where God put me. And for that reason, I feel like, yes, I get the temperament. Yes, I get the experience.